The just shall live by faith. God made a declaration, the just shall live by faith. And He's the justifier. For He who is the justifier has justified you. He is the justifier of the ungodly. Well, how did you become just before God? You believed the righteousness which is of faith. In that God raised Jesus from the dead, God was accepting His sacrifice and His offering that His Son made of Himself for the sins of the world. He paid our debt to the grave and hell. He paid our debt to sin and Satan and his dominion. And God established us in His righteousness. Why? Because the sin problem that separated you from Him is no longer a reality. If so, you believe. Well, see, the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, which is upon all and upon all them that believe. You know what that is saying? That the measure of the gift of God, the faith of Christ, the measure of the gift of Christ, is the gift of God. And it is meant for every man, woman, child on the earth. But the faith is upon them that believe. Why? Because God reckons the faith to them who believe. You can't say, well, I possess faith, and then all these things that the Bible speaks of is not being brought to fruition in you. It's evident that you either don't believe, or you haven't heard, or you are unpersuaded to believe. See? Most people that don't believe haven't heard the truth. But they that have heard the truth are unpersuaded to believe. That's a sin of unpersuadableness. And I have found one thing common with them that are unpersuaded. They're heady. And they take the treatment from the world upon their own lives and you know, allocate that toward God in their dealings with God. They treat God like He's some used car salesman trying to get something over on them. Oh yeah. And the devil smells that, and well, he's the author of that, and he'll throw refuge of lies after refuge of lies after refuge of lies for you to spew out of your mouth. Why? Because you're blinded by him. You haven't believed the glorious gospel that shines in our heart. Neither has the day dawned, the day star risen in your heart, because you are in unbelief. So your mind remains carnal, fleshly minded. Your mind is ruled by the five senses. And the inclinations that come from sin's nature, and its lust works rampant in you. And you will live a double life. Oh, why? Because you're convicted that that's all wrong. And so what do? You go into hiding. You try to get into some position where you're showing yourself to be, you know, a good person, but then you're not. And then when you're caught breaking the law, when you're caught, everybody, those who thought they knew you, gaze at you like, really? Oh man, you know. But you are all together as those that love darkness, because your deeds are evil. And you didn't want to come to the light that your deeds should be reproved. I mean, those who love darkness don't want their acts of darkness to be reproved to the things of light. But they that do truth come to the light. They're saying, you know, God, Father, I was made a sinner because of what Adam did. But if I had been there and I had the opportunity to choose, I would have chosen you. I'm not saying that I would have arrived there under my own work, but I would have yielded to you. I want to be your son. I want to be your daughter. I want you to be my Father. Won't you be my God? I come to Jesus to do truth. Lead me into all the truth, Lord. You see? You see the difference there?